On the foreign planet of Zeros, a human researcher named Adam walked through the busy market square, marveling at the bustling life around him. The city of Dal was unlike any place he had ever seen. Tall, crystalline buildings reached high into the sky, their surfaces glinting in the sunlight, while aliens of all shapes and sizes moved swiftly in the streets. There was a hum in the air, a mixture of various alien languages and the soft buzzing of flying vehicles overhead. Adam was here, on a peaceful mission, sent by Earth to study the alien flora and fauna of Zeros and learn about the various cultures living on the planet. While humanity's first steps into space had been met with awe and curiosity by most alien species, some were still cautious of humans. Adam knew that many saw humanity's past as filled with conflict and war, but he hoped to prove that Earth's people had changed. He was alone today, walking through the marketplace to find a rare flower he had heard about, one that only bloomed once every decade. The flower, known as the starlight bloom, had healing properties, and Adam was eager to study it. He had already gathered plenty of data from the local markets, and today he was going off the beaten path, hoping to find more information about the flower's growing conditions. The street he wandered down was quieter, with fewer aliens moving about. In the distance, he saw a young alien girl sitting alone under the shadow of a towering stone arch. She was unlike the others, her appearance strikingly different, with smooth, silvery skin and eyes that shimmered like stars. Her hair was a blend of pale blue and lavender, and she wore a simple tunic made of flowing fabric. She didn't seem to notice Adam's approach at first. Intrigued, Adam walked closer. He had met a few Zerosians on his travels, but none quite like her. She had an air of calmness around her, a serene beauty that made her stand out even among the bustling crowd. The girl was sitting on a low bench, quietly gazing at the horizon, as though lost in thought. "Excuse me, Adam," called out gently, trying not to startle her. "I hope I'm not disturbing you, but I'm looking for a rare flower. It's called the starlight bloom. I heard it grows near here." The girl's head snapped up quickly, her large, reflective eyes locking on to Adam. For a brief moment, there was a look of confusion, followed by a sudden flicker of fear. She didn't speak, but her body tensed, as if she were preparing to flee. Adam blinked, puzzled by the reaction. "I don't mean to alarm you," he said, his voice soft and reassuring. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm just a researcher." The girl's eyes widened, and without warning, she jumped to her feet. Her hands trembled slightly, and her expression twisted in panic. Adam took a small step back, realizing something was wrong. A human. She screamed in a high-pitched voice, her words filled with raw terror. A human. Before Adam could say another word, she turned and bolted from the bench, darting down the narrow alleyway. Her footsteps echoed as she ran, her small frame quickly disappearing into the shadows. Adam stood frozen for a moment, unsure of what had just happened. He had heard rumors that some aliens feared humans, but this was the first time he had seen such an intense reaction. He thought of his training, how humans were to approach alien species with respect, understanding, and caution. But this girl had reacted as if she had seen a monster. For a few seconds, Adam stood there, staring at the empty space where she had been. His mind raced, trying to make sense of it all. Could his appearance have caused her to panic, or was it something deeper? Taking a deep breath, Adam adjusted the strap of his bag and began to walk in the direction the girl had run. Wasn't going to chase her, but he needed answers. Why had she reacted this way? Was it because of something he had said? Or was it the sight of a human that triggered such a reaction? As Adam moved deeper into the alley, he noticed the quietness of the area. The usual hum of voices and traffic from the main market had faded, and he was now surrounded by tall, narrow buildings. It felt different, here darker, more isolated. He rounded a corner and spotted the girl again, standing near a large stone archway at the end of the alley. She had paused, her back to him, her body stiff. She didn't move, and Adam knew that. If he approached her again, he would have to be even more careful. Adam called out, taking a few slow steps forward. "I'm really sorry if I scared you. I just wanted to ask about the flower. I don't want to cause any harm. I'm just here to learn." The girl's head jerked slightly, and for a second, Adam thought she might speak. But instead, she turned her head slowly, her fearful gaze, never leaving him. And then, without another word, she turned and ran again, disappearing further into the labyrinth of the alleyways. Adam sighed, feeling helpless. He knew that her fear was not just about him. There was something deeper at play here. Something in the way she looked at him made it clear that this wasn't just about the flower or a simple misunderstanding. He would have to find out more about this planet, about the people who lived here, and why a human could provoke such fear. There was more to this story than he could have ever imagined, and Adam was determined to uncover the truth. Adam stood at the end of the alley, his eyes scanning the shadows where the girl had disappeared. He felt a sense of unease settling in his stomach. His mission had been going so well until this strange and sudden turn. He had expected curiosity, or even a polite dismissal, but not fear, not panic. Why had she reacted that way? He had spoken kindly to her, trying to ask for a simple favor, and yet her response had been one of pure terror. The words a human, echoed in his mind, over and over. What was it about humans that caused such a violent reaction? Taking a deep breath, Adam decided to follow her. He wasn't sure why, but something inside him told him that he couldn't just let this go. Maybe she knew something that could help him understand more about the people of this planet.
Oh.
Or maybe, just maybe, there was a chance to fix whatever. Misunderstanding had occurred. The alley was narrow, and the further he went, the darker it became. The air smelled faintly of spice and metal, a combination Adam hadn't encountered in the city's busy streets. He continued walking, each step echoing in the silence around him. Soon, he heard a rustling sound from behind a building. Adam froze, his heart racing as he stepped closer. He couldn't see her, but he felt her presence, just out of sight. His hand instinctively went to the small communication device in his pocket, thought about calling for backup, but something told him he needed to do this on his own. The girl's scream still lingered in the air, and Adam couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it than just fear of humans. She had seen him as something more than just a person, a walking symbol of something that, for reasons unknown, scared her to the core. He stepped forward cautiously, keeping his footsteps light. "Hey, it's me again," he called softly, hoping she might hear him without feeling threatened. "I just want to understand. I'm not here to hurt anyone." For a moment, there was only silence. Then, from behind a corner, a small voice whispered, "Go away." Adam's heart sank. He knew he was close, but she was still hiding from him. "Please, I'm not here to hurt you," he said gently, his tone soft and reassuring. "I just want to know why you're afraid." There was a long pause before the voice spoke again, this time trembling. "You don't understand. Humans... You don't belong here." Adam took another cautious step. "I've never wanted to cause harm," he said. "I'm here to learn. I'm not like the humans you may have heard about." The silence that followed was thick. Adam wasn't sure what to expect next, but he stood patiently, allowing the girl time to process his words. He hoped that if he gave her enough space, she would start to see that not all humans were dangerous. Finally, Beta Girl spoke again, her voice barely above a whisper. "You don't know what you're walking into. You shouldn't be here." Adam furrowed his brow, trying to make sense of what she was saying. "What do you mean? I'm just asking about a flower." The girl's voice wavered. "It's not about the flower. It's about what you represent." "What do I represent?" Adam asked, his curiosity piqued. "I'm just a researcher. I'm not here to fight anyone." There was a brief pause before the girl replied, "You are human. Your kind brought pain to our people. Many years ago." Adam felt a chill run down his spine. He had heard rumors, whispers about a past warsome, kind of long-forgotten conflict, but he hadn't expected it to be so deeply ingrained in the collective memory of the alien races. He'd been hoping for a warm welcome, a friendly exchange of knowledge. Instead, he had stumbled upon something much darker. "I don't know what happened in the past," Adam said carefully, his voice low. "But we've changed. We've learned from our mistakes. I want to prove that to you." The girl was silent again. Adam couldn't see her, but he could hear the hesitation in her voice. He took another step closer, willing to risk whatever might happen next. He needed to get through to her. "Please," he continued. "I know there's fear. But if you don't tell me what's wrong, I won't be able to help fix it." For a long moment, there was no sound, and Adam began to wonder if she would ever speak again. Then, just when he thought he had lost her, she whispered, "The scars left by humans, ... We're still healing from them." Adam's heart sank. Weight of her words settled over him, heavy and bitter. He had known the history between humans and some alien races wasn't perfect, but he hadn't realized just how deep the wounds ran. "I understand," Adam said softly, his voice filled with empathy. "I promise you, I didn't come here to reopen old wounds. I just want to understand. If I can help in any way, I will." The girl stayed silent, and for a moment, Adam feared she wouldn't respond at all. But then, a soft sigh escaped her lips. I wish I could believe you." Adam stood there, not sure what else to say. He had hoped to make things better, but now it seemed as though he had only made them more complicated. The past was a heavy burden to carry, and it wasn't something that could be fixed overnight. But he wasn't going to give up. Not now. Not after everything he had seen and heard. Adam knew that if he wanted to make a difference, he had to keep trying. "I'll prove it," he said firmly. "I'll prove that humanity has changed. But I need your help to do it."
There.
It was a long pause before the girl spoke again. "I can't help you," she whispered. "Not yet." Adam nodded slowly, accepting her words. He knew that, for now, he had to be patient. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but he wasn't going to walk away, not when there was still hope. Adam felt a sense of frustration growing inside him as he watched the girl disappear into the dark alleyways. He had thought that by reaching out to her, he could understand more about her fear, but instead he had learned very little other than that humans were still seen as a threat by many on this planet. He couldn't let it go. He'd come to Zeros on a mission of peace, hoping to learn and share knowledge with the inhabitants here. The last thing he wanted was to be a symbol of something feared and hated. He had to understand why the girl had reacted that way, and why humans were still seen as dangerous. The alien market outside the alley was quieter now. The sounds of the busy city still filled the air, soft voices speaking in alien languages. The hum of distant vehicles, the occasional bark of a creature in the distance. Adam stood still, taking a deep breath as he tried to think of his next move. He wasn't going to give up so easily. He needed answers. He turned to leave the alley and make his way back to the main square, where he had met several friendly traders earlier that day. Perhaps they could help. The last thing he wanted was to alienate himself from everyone on this planet, so maybe talking to more locals could shed light on the mystery. As he walked back toward the marketplace, Adam's mind wandered. The words the girl had said, "You don't belong here," kept echoing in his thoughts. He hadn't realized how deeply the past conflict with humans still affected the people of Zeros. But now, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than just a simple misunderstanding. Arriving back at the market, Adam decided to approach one of the traders he had spoken with earlier. The alien was a large, four-armed being with greenish skin and deep glowing eyes. He was busy arranging some merchandise, but Adam noticed that his hands trembled slightly when he saw the human approach. "Excuse me, Adam?" said politely. "Need to ask you something?" The trader looked up, his eyes flickering nervously. "Yes, how can I help?" Adam hesitated but then spoke. "Earlier today I tried to speak with a young girl who was sitting alone. When I approached her, she ran away, screaming a human. A human. Can you tell me why? What is it about humans that causes such fear?" The trader's expression shifted. For a moment, he didn't speak, as if unsure whether to answer the question. Adam watched his face closely, sensing that the alien was hiding something. Finally, after a long pause, the trader spoke quietly. "It's not just fear of humans," he said, his voice low. "It's history. Painful history. History." Adam repeated, leaning in slightly. "What do you mean? What happened?" The trader glanced around cautiously as if making sure no one else could overhear. Then he sighed. Many years ago, your people fought a war with my people. It was a brutal war, full of violence and destruction. Humans were not peaceful back. Then, you brought suffering to many races, including ours. Adam's stomach sank. He had heard of the war, the long-forgotten conflict that humans had fought with various alien races. But hearing the impact of it from someone who had lived through it made it feel much more real. The war had been a dark chapter in humanity's history, but Adam had hoped that time had healed the wounds. It seemed as though the scars were still fresh. I didn't know, Adam said quietly. I wasn't part of that, but I know. It must have been terrible. I'm sorry for what happened. But I'm not like that. I came here to learn and help. The trader's eyes softened, though his expression remained serious. Not all humans are like that, I know, he said. But it is not just the war that still haunts us. It is what came after. The fear, the distrust. For some of us, the idea of seeing a human, especially one alone, wandering the city, is a reminder of the past we wish to forget. Adam nodded, feeling a deep sense of shame wash over him. He had known that humanity's past was troubled, but hearing the pain in the trader's voice made him realize just how much work there was to do in repairing relationships with other species. I understand, Adam said. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that we've changed, that we're not the same as we were before. But I need help. Can you tell me what I can do? How can I earn your trust and the trust of your people? The trader paused, his many arms folding across his chest. After a long moment, he looked at Adam with a mixture of caution and curiosity. Prove your peace, he said simply. The fear won't go away overnight, but actions speak louder than words. Help us, show us that you are different. It will take time. Maybe the girl you spoke to will be the first to see that. Or maybe she will need more time. Adam stood there, processing the trader's words. He knew that he had a long road ahead of him, but now he at least had a clearer idea of what he needed to do. It wasn't enough to simply tell the people of Zeros that humanity had changed. He had to show them, through every action, that humans were capable of kindness, of peace, and of understanding. Thank you, Adam said to the trader. I'll do whatever I can to make things right. Trader nodded, his face softening just a little. Good luck, human. You will need it. As Adam turned to leave, he felt a mixture of determination and uncertainty. He had no idea how long it would take to change the hearts and minds of the people of Zeros, but he knew he couldn't give up. For the sake of humanity's future among the stars, he had to prove that they could be more than their past mistakes. And with that thought, set off once again into the heart of the city, hoping that the next step in his journey would bring him closer to the answers he so desperately needed. Adam's footsteps echoed softly through the narrow alleyways of Dal as he thought over everything the trader had told him. The words "prove your peace" stuck in his mind, felt like a heavy weight on his shoulders, but it also gave him something to hold on to, a purpose. He knew he needed to do more than simply ask for forgiveness for a war that happened long before he was born. But how? How could he prove that humanity had changed when the past loomed so large and the fear was still fresh in the hearts of the people? Adam walked through the city, his thoughts clouded. But as he passed through a quieter part of Dal, something caught his eye. He stopped in his tracks. There, hidden between two towering stone buildings, was a small public square. At the center was a monumental large stone sculpture of two alien figures, one standing and one kneeling, their arms outstretched toward each other. The monument was beautiful, yet there was a feeling of sadness in the air as he approached the sculpture. Adam noticed the faces of the figures carved with such detail that it felt as if they could come to life at any moment.
But more than
that, the expressions were filled with pain. The kneeling figure had its head lowered, as if defeated, while the standing figure seemed to be offering something, a symbol of peace. Perhaps Adam stepped closer to the monument, his mind racing. The monument seemed to tell a story, one of loss, of conflict, and possibly of a failed attempt at peace. Could this be a reminder of the war he had heard about? He reached out and gently touched the stone surface, feeling the coldness of it under his fingertips. What is this? Adam murmured to himself. Before he could investigate further, a voice spoke from behind him. "It's a monument to a time most of us wish we could forget," the voice said. Adam turned around to find an older alien standing a few feet away. She was tall, with long flowing hair that shimmered like silver threads. Her face was lined with age, and her eyes held a sadness that matched the monument. She wore a simple tunic, but there was something regal in the way she carried herself. "I'm sorry if I've disturbed you," Adam said quickly. "I was just trying to understand." The alien woman stepped forward, her eyes studying him carefully. There was a long pause before she spoke again. "Many humans ask about this monument, but few ever understand its meaning," she said. "It was built to remember the war, the suffering, and the broken promises. It represents the great divide between our people and yours." Adam swallowed hard. He had heard of the war, but to hear it spoken of so openly from the mouth of someone who had lived through it made it feel so much more real. "I didn't come here to bring up the past," Adam said, his voice gentle. "I'm not like the humans who fought in that war. I'm here to learn and to prove that humanity has changed." The woman studied him for a moment longer, then nodded. "Slightly, I know," she said softly. "But you cannot simply erase what happened. Not for us, not for many." Adam felt the weight of her words. It was true he could not change the past. He couldn't undo the damage that had been done. But he could try to make things right, even if it took years. He could show them that humans had evolved, that they were no longer the people who had caused so much pain. "You seem like you're trying to change things," the woman said, her voice still soft but with a touch of respect.
That's fake.
"Good start. But to truly understand, you must first understand why we fear you, why we cannot forget." Adam nodded, his heart heavy with the realization that there was so much more to this planet's history than he had ever imagined. "I want to understand. I'll do whatever it takes." The woman gave a small smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. "It's not just about asking questions, human. It's about earning trust. And trust takes time." "I know," Adam said quietly, "but I won't stop trying." The woman turned, looking at the monument once more. "There are others who may help you, but they are few. You will find that many here still believe that humans are a threat, no matter how peaceful you try to be." Adam looked at the monument, again, taking in the sadness and loss carved into the stone. He understood, at last, how deep the fear ran. It wasn't just about the past. It was about a culture, a society that had been scarred by war, and now, that scar was impossible to ignore. "I will keep trying," Adam said firmly, his voice steady. "I'll prove that we're different now, that we can be trusted." Alien woman seemed to consider this for a moment, then nodded. "I believe you, but remember, words are easy, actions are harder." Adam understood. He had to show the people of Zeros that humanity had changed, that they could be peaceful, that they could be allies, not enemies. But where to start? How could he earn the trust of a people so hurt by the past? "Thank you for speaking with me," Adam said, his mind racing with ideas. The woman gave a small, almost sad smile. "You are welcome, but be careful, human. Are walking into a storm of old fears, and some may never let go." Adam took a deep breath and turned to leave. He didn't have all the answers, and he knew the path ahead would be long and difficult. But for the first time since he had arrived, he felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he could make a difference here, as he walked away from the monument. He vowed to prove himself, to show the people of Zeros that humanity was ready to change, ready to move forward, and ready to build a future based on trust, not fear. Adam spent the next few days trying to understand more about the planet, its people, and their fears. He knew that he couldn't change everything in a short amount of time, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he had to do something. Had to prove that humanity wasn't the same as it had been during the war. The alien woman had been right. It wasn't just about asking questions. It was about showing his sincerity through actions. Words alone wouldn't do the trick he needed to earn the trust of the Zerosians. And he had to start with something simple, something small, but important. He decided to visit the market again, hoping to find someone who could help. This time, however, he wasn't going to ask for knowledge or share stories. Instead, he focused on just being helpful, offering to assist with anything, no matter how small. He wasn't looking for gratitude. He was looking to show that humans could be useful, kind, and respectful. As he walked through the market, Adam spotted a group of Zerosians arguing over a pile of glowing fruits. The fruits were clearly a prized commodity, and the alien merchants were upset because a few had been damaged by careless handling. Adam watched for a moment as voices rose, the situation escalating. He didn't know what to do at first, but then he noticed one of the merchants. It's an elderly Zerosian, struggling to pick up the fallen fruits. She seemed frail, her movements slow, and it was clear she was overwhelmed by the argument around her. Adam walked over to her. "Excuse me," he said, his voice gentle. "Can I help?" The elderly Zerosian looked up at him with wide, cautious eyes. She opened her mouth to say something, but Adam quickly added, "I know you're upset, but I just want to help with the fruits. If you let me, I'll make sure nothing gets damaged." For a long moment, the merchant didn't respond, her eyes flicking nervously to the others. Adam could tell she was afraid, unsure if it was safe to trust him. He didn't blame her. Finally, she nodded slowly, stepping aside to let him help. Adam carefully picked up the fruits, placing them back into the baskets with gentle hands. He didn't rush. He took his time, making sure to handle each piece with care. The other merchants watched him, still skeptical, but Adam kept his focus on the task. When he finished, the elderly merchant gave him a small nod of appreciation, though she didn't speak. Adam smiled, his heart lifting just a little. This was a start, a small act of kindness that could show the people here that not all humans were a threat. As he walked away, he caught sight of the young alien girl again, the one who had run from him days earlier. She was standing near the edge of the market, watching him with a mixture of curiosity and fear. Adam's heart skipped a beat. He had been hoping to see her again, to speak to her, to try and explain himself. This time, he wouldn't approach her quickly or directly. He didn't want to scare her off again. Instead, he simply smiled and nodded in her direction, trying to offer a gesture of peace. To his surprise, the girl didn't run. She stood there for a moment, staring at him. Then, slowly, she began to walk toward him. Adam's pulse quickened. Was she going to speak to him, or would she run again? When she reached him, she stopped just a few feet away. Her eyes were wide, but there was something different about the way she looked at him now. Less fear, more curiosity. I saw what you did," she said quietly. Her voice was soft, almost hesitant. "You didn't have to help that merchant. You could have just walked away." Adam smiled softly. "I wanted to help," it seemed like the right thing to do. The girl studied him for a moment longer, and Adam could see the wheels turning in her mind. "Why are you trying so hard to make things right?" she asked, her voice almost a whisper. "What do you want from us?" Adam paused. It was a question he had been thinking about himself. He didn't want anything except peace. But he knew that wasn't something that could be asked for directly. It had to be earned. "I don't want anything from you," Adam said gently. "I just want you to know that I'm not like the humans of the past. I'm not here to hurt anyone. Here to learn, to show you that we've changed." The girl's expression softened slightly, though there was still doubt in her eyes. "You don't know what it's like," she said quietly. "The things we've lost. The things we've been through because of your kind." Adam nodded. He knew she was right. He couldn't possibly understand the pain and fear her people had gone through, but he hoped, more than anything, that he could help change their perception of humans. "I can't change the past," Adam said, his voice steady. "But I can show you that we're different now. We want to move forward, not backward. We want to build trust, not fear." The girl looked at him for a long time, her gaze searching, as though she were trying to decide whether or not to believe him. Finally, she spoke again, her voice soft, but with a new sense of resolve. "Double quotes, maybe? ... Maybe you can help," she said slowly. "But it will take more than just words. You'll have to show everyone, not just me." Adam nodded, understanding. This was only the beginning. There was so much more to do, so many more people to prove himself to. But this small step, this small moment, meant something. It was the first time someone here had looked at him and seen not a human from the past, but a human from the present, a human who wanted peace. "I'll prove it," Adam said firmly. "I'll show you and everyone else that we can be trusted." Girl looked at him for a moment longer, then nodded. "I'll help you, but you'll have to be patient. Not everyone will believe you right away." Adam smiled, a feeling of hope rising within him. "I'm ready. I'll be as patient as it takes." And with that, the two of them stood together in the bustling market, the noise of the city around them. But for the first time, Adam felt like there was a chance to build a future, a chance to prove humanity's worth. The days that followed were some of the most challenging Adam had faced since arriving on Zeros. Despite the small victory of speaking to the girl and earning a measure of trust, he knew the road ahead would not be easy. It wasn't enough to convince just one person to make real change. He would need the support of the community, the trust of the entire planet. But first, he had to prove himself. Adam kept his promise, didn't stop helping. Each day, he found ways to assist wherever he could, whether it was helping in the market, offering his assistance to merchants, or working alongside the alien workers who maintained the city's infrastructure. With every small act of kindness, Adam hoped to chip away at the fear that still gripped the hearts of the Orcs as he worked. He couldn't help but notice the way the other aliens watched him. Some still looked at him with suspicion, their gazes wary and unsure. But there were others, those who had begun to notice his efforts, who looked at him with something else, a flicker of hope. It wasn't much, but it was a start. One morning, as Adam was helping to repair a broken cart in the market, the girl he had spoken to earlier appeared again. This time, she didn't look afraid. Instead, she approached him with a tentative smile, her eyes bright with curiosity. "You're still here," she said softly. "I thought you might have given up by now." Adam smiled back, wiping his hands on a cloth. "I'm not giving up. I'm here to help, no matter how long it takes." The girl seemed to study him for a moment, as if weighing his words. "Can see that you're different from the others." Adam raised an eyebrow. "Different from the others? In what way?" She hesitated before speaking again. "You're not like the humans who came before. They wanted power, control, and war. Why, you just want peace. You want to fix things." Adam's heart lifted at her words. "That's exactly it. I don't want to control anything. I just want to build something better for all of us." For the first time since meeting the girl, Adam saw a genuine glimmer of hope in her eyes. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "I've been talking to my family," she said quietly. "They've been asking me what I think about humans. I've told them what I've seen, and ... I think they're starting to listen." Adam's heart skipped a beat. This was the moment he had been waiting for, an opening, a chance to make an even bigger impact. But he knew that this moment wasn't just about him. It was about all of humanity, about showing that humans could be more than their past mistakes. "That's great," he said, his voice steady. "But it's not just about us. It's about all of us humans and Zerosians working together. I can't do this alone. I need your help to prove that we can be trusted." She nodded slowly, her expression serious. "I'll help you, but you'll have to prove it to more people than just my family. You'll have to show them that humans are not like the ones who came before." Adam nodded. "I understand, and I will. I'll show them. But I'll need more than just words. We need actions." The girl thought for a moment. Then she stepped back and looked at him with determination in her eyes. "I think I know a way for you to prove yourself. There's a festival coming up. It's a time when our people come together to celebrate and share stories. If you help with the preparations and show your commitment, I think others will begin to see you differently." Adam's heart raced at the thought. This could be his chance. He had to take it. "I'll do whatever it takes." "Good," she said with a small smile. "The festival is important to us. If you can be a part of it, it will show that you're not just here for yourself, but for all of us." Adam felt a surge of determination. This was the opportunity he needed. The festival would be a big event, and if he could prove himself during it, Maybe, just maybe, he could change the minds of more Zerosians. Over the next few days, Adam worked harder than ever. He joined the festival preparations, helping with the decorations, setting up stages, and assisting with the various tasks that would ensure the event went smoothly. It wasn't easy, and he faced some resistance from the more cautious members of the community, but Adam never wavered. He was there to work, to help, and to prove that humanity was different now. The day of the festival arrived, and the entire city of Dal was alive with excitement. Music filled the air, and bright banners fluttered in the wind. The streets were lined with food stalls, and the scent of sweet treats and spices filled the air. Alien families gathered in large groups, and the whole city seemed to pulse with energy. Adam stood in the middle of it all, his heart racing. He wasn't sure what to expect, but he knew that this moment could make all the difference. This was his chance to show the people of Zeros that humans could be trusted, that humanity could change. As the festival began, the girl approached him once more, her eyes filled with excitement. "You did it," she said with a smile. "You're a part of this now, and so are the humans." Adam couldn't help but smile back. He had done it. He had taken the first real step toward earning the trust of the Zerosians. But as the day wore on, Adam realized that the journey wasn't over. The festival was just the beginning. It would take time for the fear to fade completely, for the wounds of the past to heal. But he was no longer alone in his efforts. The girl, her family, and others in the community had begun to see him not as a human from the past, but as a human from the present, a human who wanted peace, not war. And that was enough to give him hope.